I'm Brian.
And I'm Steven.
I'm Lex.
And
this is the awkward side hug.
Man. Well, we're the awkward side hug. We've been practicing social distancing before we were told to. This form, because I've been watching some podcasts recently, and they've been using Zoom in this format to do their podcast. So,
who would have thought we were ahead of our time?
Yeah,
Nice.
nobody would know except for a couple fans. But how you guys been doing?
Hey, real quick, because you said a couple of our fans. So, at work, they found out I had a podcast, right? And so, I told the guy, yeah, this is what it is, right? So he subscribed on Spotify, right, to play it. The next day at work, he tells me like, hey, like when I got in the car, your thing started automatically playing. And I was like, oh, cool. Did you listen to it? He's like, nah, not really. I was like, oh man. Wow, dude. And I told him I'm going to say the story on the podcast. So hopefully he does listen to the actual episode. He said he got like two. I said, oh, like you got at least 5 minutes in. He's like, yeah, not even 5 minutes. Yeah, right?
I'm gonna light some incense in here.
So,
Wild fam.
Yeah, Brian doing the witchcraft in there. Or
Yeah, man.
Two ghosts appear in the back.
yeah, Brian's gonna start rubbing eggs all over his room, or what?
Oh man, but damn, that's funny. That's hilarious. You know what? I had that brief thought too. I was like, wait a second. You know, we've been doing this social distancing on podcasts before it was cool. We were like being total hipsters about it, or we're the hipsters of podcasts.
Right? People are gonna be like, remember Ash? Ash was doing that format before you guys were. I have a little sloth guy that holds my incense thing.
But we're technically still cool because we don't get views.
Right? When we get views, people are gonna be like, man, I used to watch them before it became mainstream.
Yeah, now's your chance. Watch us. We don't get views. To all the hipsters out there, this is what you should do during quarantine.
Oh man. So speaking of that, let's get into the first fourth mic question, Lex.
Yes. Yeah, so basically we were going to lead off with, I mean, obviously, sort of this is everybody's situation during this time, during coronavirus, COVID-19, quarantine, all those keywords. So fourth mic, what are your feelings on / what is your personal understanding of COVID-19? I'm just gonna like this picture via the Ash page real quick. All right, cool. Could have been any three of us. But yeah. So what are your guys' opening comments? We could use this question just as what I figured our opening would have been anyways.
The pink elephant in the world. I don't know. The thing is, like, in terms of my understanding, it changes hour by hour. Like, just yesterday, I started figuring out a lot of stuff. Like, it could be airborne for 3 hours. It could be on plastic for 3 days, stuff like that. Like, all this stuff, these are stuff I feel like I've been hearing people say, but it hasn't been in, like, the news or clarified. Trump is okaying a drug that hasn't been FDA approved, apparently.
So real quick, on just a disclaimer on these things.
Yeah.
Do your homework. I would probably just go off of what the CDC
I
has
think
on their website.
I think Ash has it covered. I think if you listen to what we have to say, and
you'll survive.
You'll
CDC, ASH. Come on, we're basically the same thing. 3 letters. Just listen to us, guys.
If you listen to any of our podcasts, you would know that we're always well informed before we hear something.
Yeah, our information list has like nothing next to number 3. So.
But for me personally, and I remember because I'm sure this is something you guys want to bring up at some point, is I was in Solvang.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just thinking about that right now.
and I was actually in the bathroom taking a dump, and I found out that like all the sports are being canceled, all the sports are being suspended. You start hearing things about empty seats. And it's funny because I follow sports more than anything. So my
These dudes.
whatever. So like
Go ahead.
I'm following like all these like like empty arena games are gonna happen with the Warriors, and then all of a sudden we're suspending the season, and then all this. But when March Madness got officially canceled, because not to be like that douchebag, but like I did my senior thesis in college on the NCAA and amateurism and the relationship with television, and through my research, the NCAA has a deal with CBS worth billions of dollars to air games, and keep in mind the NCAA doesn't make money off college football really, because college football these schools are independently getting money from TV rights and stuff like that. And the BCS championship game is not an NCAA title; it's just a BCS championship. So college basketball is where the NCAA makes all its money, and for them to basically say like, we're going to take the year off from making money, and we all know how scandalous the NCAA could be. That to me immediately was the one that was like, oh, this is for real. Like if companies are now going to lose out on millions and millions and millions up to billions of dollars because it's the right thing to do. Like, how we live in like a capitalist corporate, whatever. Your opinions on that could be whatever they want, but for companies to lose out on money because it's the right thing to do, it's a pretty serious thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and speaking of basketball, like I was cleaning my room because there's like nothing else to do. I'm sure as many people out there are also kind of doing because of the situation. And dude, check this out, dude. I found these like old markers, and they're like basketball, and they're like super old basketball markers. So like the Lakers one looks cool, but then there's like where is it? There's a Charlotte Hornets one right here, and then there's a Supersonics one right here.
And then you got that Orlando Magic one that me and Steven to this day are not 100% sure that's still a basketball team or not.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, if
Wait,
you
no,
watch,
that's the Knicks.
no, the one on the very end, I believe, is
right
the
here.
Magic. Yeah, me and Steven on our sports show that we released that has probably 5 views like a month ago or whatever. We're still in debate if the Orlando Magic's an NBA team or not.
That's funny.
When their players get invited to the NBA All-Star game, people are like, hey man, only NBA teams allowed.
For real, man. Yeah, that's crazy. So what are your thoughts and feelings, Steven, on COVID?
Oh, hose. That's what you guys are thinking.
You said hose? What you say?
I said uh-oh. You can't sneeze or cough or look sick in public.
That's true.
As I'm like tearing up right now because I got a tickle in my nose.
Yeah.
You touch your face like 10 times in this podcast.
Right.
Well, I sanitize my area, so I got to sneeze, dude. This is like the worst time, right?
To talk about it. It's funny because Eric was telling, so my brother is or two of my brothers are like the opposite ends of the spectrum. One's like, oh, everything's gonna be fine, don't worry. The other one's like, oh, stock up everything in the world, right? So he was at Costco, like getting ready, and I guess he was just simply just like drinking a water bottle or like drinking water, and it went down the wrong pipe. So he was like, he was trying to like, I don't know if you see that meme of like that singer who's like,
yes, yeah,
like he's trying to like cover it. That was Eric for like a good like 15 seconds, I guess. And then he was just like, oh no shit. And I guess like he said after like just a few seconds, he's like, all right, screw it, man. So he was just gonna let it like like the biggest, like just let it all out. And he said like everyone was just like looking at him. He's like, man. But it's funny too because there's like just like speaking on Steven's point of like coughing just like offends everyone. Like the comedian Theo Vaughn posted like this tweet the other day. It's like oh, it's in reverse, huh? But I'm gonna have to like
we see, I think.
Oh yeah, coughing is the new N-word. And I thought that was pretty bold and wild, but yeah, dude, coughing is crazy. Even in my house, I have to kind of have to hide it.
Honestly, I think don't panic. I think that should be the first thing. Don't panic buy. Don't buy 600 rolls of toilet paper. I actually need toilet paper, and I haven't been able to get it. So, damn. Pretty soon, it's gonna be my hand.
It's funny because, like, I agree. No,
the old school way.
But I agree, no one should panic. But I do see why people are hoarding a bunch of crap because there's no answer to how
we all just have We all just have like acid reflexes right now. As we talk about not trying to cough.
There's no answer when this is gonna end and stuff like that. And I'm sure if someone had the virus, you don't want them going out buying toilet paper, so it's a good thing that they have it stocked up, right? So this is a 50-50 thing where I agree with Steven 100%, but I also see why people are doing it.
I think 2-3 weeks of stuff is good enough. You don't need to buy 20 gallons of milk. These things do get bad, and I don't think that you can drink a gallon of milk a day.
Exactly.
So be considerate. And I mean, I got up this morning. I was in line at 6:30 at Walmart because I wanted to get toilet paper, right? And then I realized, well, like they came out, it was like 6:50. They came out and said, "Oh, we're out of toilet paper already." I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's not even 7:00 yet. Like, but I figured like I'll just still go in, get a couple of food items.
Why don't you wipe your ass with your attitude, man?
Oh, damn. Okay. Okay.
All right. I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
What do I say to that?
Man,
I can't cough on you. If we were next to each other, I'd cough on you. But
would you make out?
Don't test me. We could do the fruit roll-up challenge.
I wonder how Jesse's handling this.
Dang, dude.
He's probably kissing his homie.
It's advised not to kiss your homies goodnight or what? He's having a hard time. But no, yeah, I think at this point, it's crazy because I think literally the podcast before this, the episode before this, we were talking about coronavirus and sort of our personal opinions on it. But I think at this point, like no matter what your opinion is on the actual virus, it's crazy because it's affecting everyone because of all the government shutdowns and like the state requirements and like
the government scumbags, dude.
Yeah.
That whole insider trading thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You hear about that? Yeah. I heard a little bit about it. I don't, but I got the gist of it. That's crazy.
What Lex was trying to get at was, like some people are losing their jobs, some people need to file for unemployment, and we don't know if our society is created well enough to help everybody involved.
American society, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, sometimes I look at certain situations, I look at the numbers, and I'm like, man, like, we're not the state of Washington or Italy right now. Like, people who live in Washington, like, dead serious, like, that looks like, I don't know how it happened that, but I don't even know what part of Washington it is, but it's not like, because I know New York's numbers keep climbing to Florida and ours, but like whatever happened to Washington, and the thing is I'm trying to figure out the right words because like usually I say like my prayers go out to you, but I know I'm not the most religious. But I guess what I mean by my wishes or my, I don't know.
You kind of.
But
I don't think we'll judge you right now if you were to say,
prayers.
Send out my prayers.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the times where your faith is tested. If you have faith or if you're kind of into that thing.
Italy too. Italy's numbers officially surpassed China. And the funny thing is, we're gonna release this episode, and within 24 hours,
there's gonna be more updates. Yeah.
More updates. We're gonna be totally wrong about certain things. That's what's crazy about this. This is an hourly thing. I'm at work, which I'm not right now, but I'm at work and
green screen.
Imagine I'm in a classroom right now and it's like
it's weird because Brian's room looks a little bit like a green screen.
That looks really realistic. That's crazy.
Good job, Brian. We should green screen Jesse onto Lex's bed with the motorcycle jacket
draped over.
You know what? You have to put that. Oh well, people wouldn't get the Rocky Dennis part, but the picture of Jesse on the motorcycle.
Like, I don't know if we're ever gonna start using it. I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but like in our own little group chat world, Rocky Dennis has become our own created meme. Yeah. I don't know how much.
It's not even like anything horrible. Like we're not bad people. It's just that's how you know we're bad people when you have to lead off of that. it's just like there. We found like a picture of him, like it's like a professional one in a suit, and he's just like smirking, like it's just like a fun, like just like a fun, like wholesome smile. I think that's the biggest description of it. Is that
Yeah.
it's a wholesome smile, but it's also Rocky Dennis. So like anytime any of us say anything, like we just respond with that, and it's gotten so crazy. So when we Photoshop things onto it, like like little like video game headsets onto them because like we play like Fortnite a lot, but yeah, so that's that. But
Dude, my collar is super loose, man. I did not.
It is.
I did not show up prepared for this at all.
My
I didn't even
favorite-
try to train.
Since we're all in quarantine, we're all kind of just in like fuck it clothes right now.
Yeah. Like I decided because I was about to be like, yeah, I'll put on a hat and a shirt. I'm like, wait, no, I'm just gonna dress how like I've been dressed like the past week and just like hoodie.
We're going with the theme. Or...
COVID theme. Oh man, that's like a new filter on Snapchat.
Supposedly, there's a bunch of searches for COVID porn.
What?
Yeah, like coronavirus porn. Yeah,
Oh shit.
or at least that's what I heard on the radio. But
That's a good transition to our next thing. Do we feel like we said all we wanted to say, or is there more?
I have one last thing, and hopefully I don't sound very
I'll have another thing after Steven.
F the government, but I think it's times like these where really makes you put things into perspective. And I'm not saying that I'm against government programs, but I think, don't rely on the government to save you.
Yes.
Like be prepared for these things. Obviously you should have like a little earthquake kit or something, or emergency kit. Like, I mean, this is a perfect example of like, I think the government, we're kind of not last on the list, but obviously, I don't think the citizens are like, oh, we got to get all this stuff out to the citizens. It's kind of, obviously I think the economy's on the top, the people in power staying in power. I think we're somewhere towards the middle bottom part. I don't want to sound too anarchy here, but these are the times where things are tested. But I think it's really, every individual has their own job to protect their family and obviously all those things. And so don't trust the government.
well, speaking on that too, because I'll admit I kind of agree with Steven. But at the same time, if the government's offering something, take advantage of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
For sure.
real quick, taxes aren't due until July. So
Yeah. Dude, take advantage of employment. If that's your situation right now, take advantage. If they do send out $1,000, don't rip it just because it's a socialist thing. Don't rip it just because it's from Trump. Whatever it is, just take advantage. But yeah, I totally agree with Steven. I couldn't have said it better.
And keep in mind, like some primaries are being postponed.
Yeah.
If we're looking at government stuff, like who's to say we're gonna have an election in November at this point? So
Exactly. Yeah.
Still stay
At this point, we're all having doing some fun, interesting things. I know some more fourth mic stuff. People are making piñatas and stuff, like homemade piñatas, and then Cole asked a good question, which I want to get to. And then people are so one guy's just totally having a conversation in our Ask podcast
with himself
with himself. This dude, yeah, I can tell he's just spamming. He's like a rapper. He's spamming. We can like click on his page, and it's funny. So we got a whole lot going on in that. But yeah, a lot of cool things to at least take up hobbies and a lot of free time to really do some thinking.
So people are probably going to get a little bored, and we're probably not going to entertain them too much. But you know what has been entertaining so far? The NFL offseason. All of a sudden.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Like I feel like they haven't even been in the quarantine for 5 minutes, and they're like, just let Steven Diggs in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's trade DeAndre Hopkins.
I heard that was because of a bad relationship between DeAndre Hopkins and Bill O'Brien.
Yeah,
I think he called him the N-word.
I'm
just kidding. I just made that up. I just made that up.
The story is Bill O'Brien or something compared
him to Aaron Hernandez. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's bad.
Dang.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Who said it's like the NFL is just bored? Like, all right, let's start trading people.
I feel like they're just rolling dices and whatever lands they're doing.
The Rams like, let's drop Todd Gurley.
Yeah, fuck it.
Which was funny because I'm like, trade him for a 7th round pick. like if
Exactly. More could have been done with that situation. Like, I'm glad he's gone, and it hurts to say that, but we needed him not to be our starter anymore, and he wasn't going to be our backup,
Yeah.
But yeah, we should have just traded him. And what do you guys think of to kind of roll into like the biggest news? What do you think of Tom Brady to the Bucks
Is that the biggest news?
in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's only come on.
What's
I
the
think-
biggest?
I would say it's the biggest news.
Yeah, I mean,
he-
name wise, he's not like the best quarterback in the league anymore.
Only on name only. Well, you know what?
Well, what's the biggest news then?
Yeah.
I'll eat my words when he makes the playoffs and everything. I
Right,
don't
but
think.
You
And Tom
guys already have
Brady,
a dangerous Cam Newton one though.
Tom Brady is good. I'm not saying he's not good, but I think he's past the point of like signing him. What is it, 30 million?
No, of course. That's why the Patriots didn't keep him. I'm not saying he's the top 5 quarterback anymore. I'm not saying he's top 10. Maybe he's number 10. But
I would say the Todd Gurley news was bigger than Tom Brady, dude.
No.
To me personally.
no, because we're talking about biggest news as far as
I even
name.
say Phillip Rivers to the
Like,
Colts.
If
is
Brett Favre
bigger
caught
news.
like coronavirus, for example, like that would be the biggest news because of name. I meant biggest news because Tom Brady's like the biggest name in the
No,
NFL.
okay, this is it's fine.
It's a transportation and perspective, really.
Brady playing in Florida though, to me is the biggest thing because he's for one person who's this is why he's doing it. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna go down to Florida to prove to people that I can play in Florida. Over my last year, I've already done everything else. I just want to prove I can win in Florida and some humidity. Sure. If that's what Tom Brady wants to do. But to me, it's crazy that he would go to the one place where he's actually had some of his worst games in his career.
Damn.
You think he's just YOLOing right now?
I think he might just be like, there might not even be an NFL season. I'll just sign with the Bucks.
Well, he signed a 2-year deal.
All right.
So
There might not the world might collapse in like a month, dude. So
don't be that negative.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
There's people out there hoarding toilet paper, and you're over here.
Man.
You're
All
gonna
right,
feed into their fear. You're gonna scare Eric.
Speaking on Gurley though, my favorite thing about the Gurley thing is not even the Rams dropping him, because the Rams dropped a lot of players, not just
Mhm.
Gurley.
Right.
Littleton.
They dropped Clay Matthews and stuff like that. So my favorite thing is the Falcons got rid of a running back with 2 bad legs and just signed another running back with 2 bad legs.
So they got rid of Devontae.
They got rid of Devontae Freeman and they signed Todd Gurley today.
Really? That's hilarious.
I think they got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they did it all on the same day, right?
Something like
Yeah.
that, yeah. And
wild.
I'm just like,
Where do you think Melvin Gordon's heading to?
No,
He's going to Broncos.
Broncos out. That's already signed. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so far as of 3 p.m. I don't know what today's date is.
Pacific,
Friday, March 20th.
to be specific.
Okay, and then
Just to clarify real quick, Brian and I got into a small heated argument about Cam Newton a while back.
right.
I was saying they were going to keep him. Brian said they were going to trade him, and then they said they were going to keep him, and Brian's like, fuck, I was wrong. And then they said, oh, we're going to let him seek a trade, and so then, like, I'm fucking wrong, so I don't know where that's going to go.
That's gone so back and forth though that now it's just a thing that it's like really entertaining to me and Steven on how this, because they could just still keep him at this point too.
Right, because, like, he could seek a trade, but he's still under contract.
And like Teddy Bridgewater's the quarterback. Who knows? Teddy Bridgewater like throws like a pick in week 1. They'll be like, well, let's put Cam Newton back in there.
Right. Or, I mean, like, it would be a good quarterback competition, I think, in the offseason or in the mini camp.
Right.
Right. Like,
And plus, quarterbacks get hurt in the preseason all the time. So why don't you keep Cam Newton for now? And then if a team loses their quarterback, well, then you have a lot more leverage.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand why they went for Bridgewater.
Right. I don't know either. New coach, new whatever. That's how people are going to go into 2021. New Year, new whatever. One guys went. Oh, by the way, I was gonna throw in there too. WrestleMania has been so weird as well.
Yeah. 2-day event. Gronk is hosting it. Like
It's gonna be in different locations. It's gonna be
both days. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be filmed totally differently from what I've heard.
Mhm.
Originally, they tried to move it to the Performance Center, hoping that the city of Orlando would close it down and
Yeah.
shut it down, and then they could get some insurance money then. Because you can't get your insurance money if you don't attempt to try to fix the situation. So this was originally supposed to be their attempt, but now it looks like they're going full on trying to get this done. So I don't know. It's interesting. I've been keeping up with it. But yeah,
They can still get money off of merchandise.
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, obviously the tickets are what brings in the most money. But
Mm-hmm. But they might get more network buys since people can't go.
true.
They were going to try to do it June 7th at Madison Square Garden. But I don't think anything's going to be available for a while. But yeah, deja vu, right?
That's deja vu, man.
So in a nutshell, WrestleMania is deja vu.
Yeah. Oh man, that's wild. Why does deja vu happen?
So what's the fourth mic question? Was it the fourth mic question?
Fourth mic
Yes.
question, yeah.
Our man Cole, who's actually been the real MVP because he's been
MVP, yeah.
he's been very supportive of all our fantasy sports and all our competitions. He's been involved. He was in MLS, baseball. He wanted to do March Madness with us.
We've been canceling fantasy sports before COVID was cool.
Yeah. And so he's kind of like our fifth mic at this point. Like we're the third, we're the three mics. You guys are the fourth. And Cole's been like our fifth mic. Jesse's supposed to be our fifth mic because he does MMA stuff, but he chooses to hang out with his homie instead. So, yeah, I just felt like I had to give some appreciation out to Cole. But Cole asked us this question. What you have, Lex.
Yeah, sorry. I just got depressed. I was like, all around me are
Lex's throat was a little scratchy, so he.
I was the guy.
I just minor coughed right now too.
Oh man, Tessa Blanchard. All right. Let's see. So
I see you.
I see you. So fourth, my question is. I was about to be like, he's one of my favorite bodybuilders. Oh no, that was a comment. How come we experience deja vu?
I don't know, but sometimes I feel like I'm in a moment and I get kind of freak out because I'm like, this seems like deja vu, and I'm like, I'm not scared of the deja vu itself. I'm scared of like, wait, what happens after this in my deja vu dream thing, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know the science behind it.
From the small amount of information that I read, it's because of like a delay in your brain sending a signal, and it makes you think that you've done it already before, and that's why it's so like a memory.
No way.
But what if it did happen before?
I mean, that's a personal opinion.
Maybe Cole was asking too, like, what, like,
Hey, Cole, be specific. No, I was just kidding, Cole.
Maybe he's asking about the Denzel Washington movie, Deja Vu.
Ooh, that's true.
How do we know when we experience a Denzel Washington movie called Deja Vu? And we'll be
Maybe
like,
he's asking about the strip clubs.
Oh, maybe. Like, how do you know if you're in a strip club or not?
How do we experience strip clubs? Like...
By the smell. No.
Dang,
All right.
that's wild.
So,
but yeah, so I think final topic is Solvang on the list. Solvang.
So recently it was our 1-year anniversary between me and my girlfriend. We wanted to go somewhere chill and quiet, away from people, and
somewhere where nobody would be.
No one would be, and we thought it would be cool, like, so we go to Solvang. The food was good, the beer was good, the treats and stuff, the beef jerky, the chocolate, that's all good. We ended up driving around, me being a history buff. We went to go to the Mission that's right outside of town. I'm not very Catholic, but that was interesting. I'm like, hey, this is where probably like a bunch of Catholics mistreat Native Americans.
Wild.
Come on, dude.
Come on, you wild.
So yeah, it was quiet. Then we went down the coast, went to some breweries and stuff like that, and got some really good food. It was really
And-
chill. And then we went back into panic zone of Southern California because it wasn't very panicky up there.
In reality, that Solvang trip could have saved your life.
That's
I
true.
could have, because I probably would have been working,
You know?
and I could have like got the cold, got the flu. So yeah, you might be right.
So shout out to Solvang.
Shout out to Solvang. Solvang's always gonna, because I was just talking about this. I was like, Solvang's always gonna have that, like, yeah, that's where we had our anniversary, but that's also the place where I first heard all this news. So when people do that whole like, hey, where were you when you first heard all this? I'm like, Solvang, because like even though I was hearing about this before,
My my favorite description of Solvang is what Lex said.
it's just so. What is
It's
it?
Just a
just-
bunch of fields of
it's-
grass and then a windmill at the end of a long street.
It's just one long street and fields of grass.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not gonna lie. Like me and Steven we're just poking fun at just like the idea of Solvang, probably the name, even like a small little town. We just been poking fun at it all week. But like I'll admit I think it's overrated. But also in Brian's defense, there was like a few outside factors to like my specific trip last year. But I mean, yeah, it's like
It makes sense if you want some peace and quiet.
yeah.
Like,
If you're looking for a very, very small
Relaxed setting.
small getaway, then it's perfect. Yeah.
And it's like right outside Santa Barbara, so it's not like. And the thing is, like, you want to take your homies and your boys to Solvang.
The next WWE event in Solvang.
Like,
Kiss your homies goodnight and Solvang.
WWE
Hey,
live. or-
hey, let's get Vegas. Let's go to Solvang next time, guys.
If they have
Hey,
one
dog.
slot machine, we're good, right?
Hey dog, let's go cuddle in Solvang, fam.
Jesse to his homie or what?
Just gonna hit us up. He's in Solvang right now.
I think we need to explain the whole Jesse and his homie thing real quick.
But the thing is gonna make us look like we're not very 2020.
We're very
Yeah.
2020. It's just funny because we don't know. Like, it's a possibility, but we just don't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
okay, so
And
let
not
me-
that it makes a difference if it is or not. It's just funny because we don't know. Is he being serious or is he joking? Like, sometimes it seems real, sometimes it doesn't. Like,
So let me get some context in history. Is if we're not playing Fortnite, it's usually because we're doing something with a significant other. Now, Steven
or at work, right? You know.
at work, Steven has his son, so maybe that's another point there for him. So when Jesse can't play because he's with his homie, we now kind of tie that into like, well, that's Jesse's new significant other. And then now we just assume that Jesse's clapping cheeks all the time.
wildin'.
And then Jesse plays along with it, like, oh, I'm gonna go clap my homie's cheeks real quick. I'll hey, get off. But we don't know.
Oh, yo, wild, fam.
Because, I mean, he lives in the middle of nowhere. He lives with one roommate. And, I mean, I'm sure it gets, boring or lonely. I mean,
And then he decides to he has two different video game systems to hop onto Fortnite with us and play with us, but he decides to leave both systems at a third house that he never visits. And he's like, "Oh, sorry guys, I lived at another place." Just leave it at the
Right.
two places you're always at.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I think that basically covers all of it. There's all that.
I want to release
You
more
guys have any-
content, but I don't want to make empty promises for the.
I know because we've been saying that for the past 7 episodes.
Right.
But let's just do it. Let's just let's hop on Fortnite right now and just release the first Fortnite content, or let's stream if we can. I think if we were
I
to
say too many bad words.
yeah, same here. But
Well, if you could watch yourself at work, you could watch yourself on Fortnite.
Mhm.
I say bad words at work too.
Dang,
I know,
that's
I'm
not
just
good.
kidding. Well, I'm in an office by myself, so sometimes I'll be like,
you
oh,
just
fuck.
you're just on your computer and you just go shit.
Sometimes
Oh, man.
you gotta let one out,
That's wild, fam.
man.
But yeah, let's we're all in this together. Hopefully you guys watching are in this with us as well. We know you're home, just might as well watch. I'm just
Stay
kidding.
at home.
Yeah.
Social distance yourself. It's 2 weeks. Everything will be there when you're done.
It's gonna be longer than that. So if you're watched The Office for the 8th time already, why don't you just watch the Awkward Side Hug? But they're not
There it
gonna know because this is in the Awkward Side Hug episode.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh, we'll use
This is
clip.
content.
Yeah, we'll use this.
All right, wash your hands for 20 seconds.
Wash your hands and wash your.
How about send us
No, what-
videos of you washing your hands?
There it is.
There it is.
All right,
That's gonna be my first TikTok video.
That'll be the next content that we put out.
that'll be dope.
So
Alright.
so yeah, the moral of the story: wash your hands and watch your ash.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That was good.
All right, peace out.
Hold on,
Well,
hold on,
did you
hold
see
on.
that half-ass piece I did? I was like, peace out.
It was like the when we took a picture with Shawn Michaels like 3 years ago. We didn't know what to do. I was so excited. He's like my favorite. He's like my hero. And then like Brian, so there's like the club sign or the
Too sweet.
the click sign. Too sweet. There you go. Too sweet or the click. So like Brian was like, oh, we're just excited. Shawn Michaels was like, Brian just did a quick thing, and Brian's too sweet ended up being like we'll post a picture on Ash, but it was just like too sweet, and then we're like, the hell. And it was like a huge backstory on Shawn Michaels meeting alone. We'll tell it on the next one. But,
No, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
But yeah, so yeah, that's it. Stay safe out there. Please at least abide to the minimum requirements of what safe practices are. The
And
CDC.
this is my thing real quick too. You know, like the government telling you to stay home, there's a reason for it.
Exactly.
Do your part and try to stay home. If you need to go to the store, get something, do it real quick. But like, just don't go out. Stay home. Do your part. Don't get anybody else sick. Don't get yourself sick. And
Honestly, if you guys want to Fortnite it up, hit us up and we can do a big old game of Zone Wars, dude.
That'd be dope. 16 players max, I think.
right,
That's a lot
Something like
for that
that,
little
yeah.
area. Yeah, let's do it.
DM us your names, or
Fortnite.
we can share ours. And yeah,
No PC players though.
Yeah. You guys are too good.
all right,
But yeah, I believe that's it.
all right. Peace out.
Bye.